Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself today. We believe that everybody's doing well. Yeah, we believe that everybody is doing well today. Prof,
Yes,
welcome.
sir. Thank you.
I hope everybody's doing okay.
Yes, we are good.
All righty. So as usual, on this platform, we don't entertain insults. On this platform, we want to encourage different opinions. So we would always respect your opinions. And we hope that you table them respectfully and we're going to discuss it. We also believe that we don't have all the answers to all the questions facing us, but we believe that if we can have the opportunity to discuss, we should be able to uh, okay. All right. We should be able to learn from each other and better our lives in order to better our societies. So on this platform, if you have any dissenting opinions, you can table them and we'll be more than happy to discuss that with you. Finally, creativity and inventions are not by the color of one's skin, but by an educated mind. So if you want to create, you need to educate your mind and be able to create, irrespective of the color of your skin. With that said, I just want to zoom straight away to introduce today's discussions. Um, it's pretty much not going to be new from what we did last week because there have been some developments on some of the things I spoke about or I spoke on some of the topics I spoke on last week. But I think there's an opportunity for Prof to also give his version. So I'm just gonna run through real quick. But before I run through real quick, I just want to use this opportunity to address an issue which is facing all of the African continent. I don't know why when people are given authority, they especially, okay, let me limit it to law enforcement agencies, especially in our part of the world. I know there's some excesses that happens in other parts of the world as well, but hey, we are more concerned about fixing our problems first. The law enforcement agencies, is it that they don't know the laws or they just tend to ignore the laws? I'm speaking with reference to the gentleman Albert Ojwang. I believe that's how they pronounce the name. Ojwang, the Kenyan blogger who was killed by the cops. It really does not make sense. It does not make sense. You arrested this person for defamation, which I have an issue with that, but that's not what we're going to be talking about. Why do you arrest the person? You arrest somebody to put him before the court of competent jurisdiction and let people decide on whether he is guilty or not. Let him make his case. I don't know where this concept of let's beat people up comes in when it comes to especially African police officers. I know the military does it too, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the peace officers because these are people we work with every day. The military comes in once in a while. So I don't know where that concept of beating people up comes in when somebody gets arrested. Is that part of the laws of the land? So those who are supposed to be custodians of the law don't even live by the law. So what is the essence of making the laws of the land then? Because I'm pretty sure, and I know, I checked, Kenya has a defamation law. And it states that people would have to be taken through the law courts for them to prove whatever they have stated. And so when you arrest somebody and you don't give the person the opportunity to prove, but you beat the person up to death, what sense does it make? It really beats my mind. I just can't understand. As police officers, because he spoke against the deputy police chief, is it that they don't know the laws or they just don't care about the laws? And if we want to create an animalistic society, let's say so everybody can take the law in their own hands and do whatever they want to do. In this day and age, 2025, some of our African police officers behave like animals. It really does not make sense. I don't even know if they take periodic courses or refresher courses on human rights or how to handle criminals and what have you. I don't even know. And if they do, and they still don't abide by the laws of the land, you are not above the law. If you are a police officer, you are not above the law. You are just a custodian of the law. Your duty is to make sure the law is adhered to, and now you flout the laws. And I really hope and pray that these officers will be made example to weed out the craziness in the Kenyan police force. And so the other police officers around the African continent should be observing and see what happens to them when they decide to take the law in their own hands. Be the police the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Our police officers need to learn. If you don't belong to that institution, get out. You are a custodian of the law as a police officer. You are not an executioner. You are a custodian of the law. So Albert Ojwang, we hope that he rests in perfect peace. But what happened to him is totally crazy. Police officers, please, you are not executioners. You are to make sure that people fall in line with the law. I don't know where this concept of beating comes in as a police officer who mandated you to beat people up. This is crazy. This is crazy. And we hope that this is going to, these officers are going to be made examples of some of these craziness going on so people can learn from these examples. They had to face the full extent of the law. And I believe with the international community putting pressure or this craziness happening in the glaring light of the international community, justice is going to be pursued for Albert Ojwang. I hope I pronounced the name well. May his soul rest in perfect peace. Prof, your submission before.
Yeah, I wasn't very surprised when I read the story. Why am I not surprised? Our security forces are just a vestige of the colonial legacy that predates them. What were they used for? They were used to suppress the freedom fighters. Okay. The colonial police, the colonial military, and all the other enforcement agencies were used to suppress the African, and that kind of culture persists almost everywhere in Africa. If you look at apartheid South Africa, it gives you a glaring example of what the police was used for. You can look at Rhodesia, you can look at Ghana during the pre-independence fight. You see these kind of atrocities being meted out to the local people. And once we gained our so-called political independence, nothing has been done to really change the status quo. People in authority bypass the law all the time, and there are no consequences. I'm very happy when you said that it is in the glaring eyes of the international community. But at this point, the international community is the youth of Africa who have data and who have a say in what goes on in our respective countries. We should stop waiting for anybody to come and save us. I am very happy people took to the airwaves to talk. What got him into trouble is that he was talking. So people need to continue talking so that the authorities know for sure that this, look, I won't be surprised if the person he spoke against was the one who gave the order for him to be beaten, to show him some pepper. I won't be surprised. So if the political elite in Kenya really mean business, they should take this case up and actually work it down, kick out all these police officers out of the police service, and actually prosecute them for killing an innocent man. All they had to do was wait for the people's court to prove whether this guy is guilty of the crime or not. They didn't have to beat him. In the same regard, there are a whole lot of people in prison who has never seen the light of day, who has not come to court. We are calling on the judiciary in our respective countries to pay attention to these things, because until it happens to you, you may be tempted to think that it is something that is far from you, but it's happened to somebody close to you, then you will understand. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, Prof. So again, we want to wish the family of Albert Ojwang of Kenya. We want to express our condolences to them and wish that the good Lord will comfort and feel their pain, the void with peace, because it's crazy. This shouldn't have happened. And the next thing I want to just touch briefly on is the Igbo kingdom saga in Ghana. I spoke extensively about it last weekend. So most people who heard me know my stand. This is not time for I know some politicians are trying to take advantage of this issue um to present themselves once again in the limelight, since there are no vigorous political activities going on in Ghana. Uh, but please, again, I want to repeat my stance. I think we're making a lot of noise about nothing. As I said earlier on, I think it's been confirmed this week based on press conferences and public statements that have been made by both government officials and the so-called king himself. There are laws in the country. So, I mean, somebody cannot come over from another country to build a kingdom. And the word kingdom, I don't even know where it came from, because I listened to the guides videos, his interviews, he never mentioned any kingdom. All he said was Igbo village. So I think somebody was trying to be diabolic, somebody who didn't probably like the guy. That's my opinion. Threw in the kingdom and everybody got hold of the kingdom and started running with the kingdom. And it looks like almost every discussion I hear people talking about building the kingdom, building the kingdom. And I'm like, or maybe I listened to a different tip, or if there's a tip out there where they claim they're building a kingdom that I have not seen, please produce it, and I will retract my statement. But as far as I'm concerned, I've gone through about 5 or 6 different interviews and different statements, pronouncements by the guy, and I did not hear anything about building a kingdom. So let's halt our horses. I think it's this craziness. It's just going to create xenophobia amongst the youth. We don't need it. We don't need that. We should remember we also have our people in Nigeria. So if we do anything stupid in Ghana, and some of these journalists, as I said, please guard your statements. Stop branding all Nigerians as criminals. Be careful with the things you say, because it's inciting the youth to want to believe that Nigerians would have to go back to Nigeria. It's uncalled for. I think we're making a lot of noise about nothing. And this week he made a statement himself. So those of you who think he was going to take over Ghana or going to do whatever with Ghana, I don't know where that thought came from, but it's been clarified. So please, let's let sleeping dogs lie. Nigerians are our brothers and our sisters. Let's live peacefully with them. So I was talking to somebody this week who said, had it not been for the intrusion of the Western world, probably some of the migration was going to happen in such a way that people wouldn't even know who is from Nigeria and who is from Ghana. Who knows? We are all the same people. Yes, there are laws in the country. If he did anything wrong or if he does anything wrong, let's allow the laws to take its course, and let's stop this xenophobic statements against our brothers and sisters from Nigeria. My take. Prof.
Uh, it, as you can see, I'm inside the car, so when I
Yeah.
amp the thing, I have to go on mute.
Oh, okay. So today you're
Ma
really bright.
yeah, I'm inside the car. We had to go somewhere.
Yeah.
I have a very big problem with the characterization of this whole saga.
Mm.
When you go to Kumasi, I don't know Accra that well, or any other city in Ghana for that matter, but I know Kumasi. There are enclaves where the signs and everything is Chinese. Nana, you saw that when we went to Ghana,
Yeah.
2022.
Yeah.
And
And
since
there's a
I
place
lived,
even in Legon. Was it Legon or is Legon somewhere? I'm not, I've lost
well,
track of the
so
geography of
so
Accra, but
why
some
is it
place where they call Chinatown.
why is it that our people have not risen up against that?
I have no idea.
You see, I know we don't use insults here, but it is very unintelligent.
Mm.
For you to have a problem with a Nigerian who wants to have an Igbo village in Ghana when he legally bought the land and legally made his, for what I have read and what I've seen, his plan is more than 10 years in the making. And the local authorities, the chiefs, they knew about this and they still sold him the land. So
And
even if you are,
let me even, he's not even bought the land. And legally, he can't even buy a land.
buy the land, I get that. It's a
So
lease.
I'm pretty
It's a
sure,
50-year
right,
lease.
right,
It's a 50-year lease.
right.
I know that any foreigner who claims to have bought land in Ghana, even for us who are born and bred in Ghana, I know about the Asante. It is a 100-year lease. After 100 years, you have to repay. That is what land is. You haven't bought it. Unless it is your family land, it is not yours.
Yeah.
But my problem is this. My first stint outside Ghana when I went to Lakehead University in Southern Ontario, this is what I realized. Tribalism is the dumbest thing anybody can do. Because out here, they call all of us those Africans, in quote. They don't know the difference between a Nigerian and a Ghanaian and a Kenyan and a South African and a Ugandan. We are all Africans in one village. If an alien came from space, he will know the difference between the African, the Caucasian, the Oriental, the Indian, the Eskimo. Somebody out of state, out of this earth, will know that. But that person will not know the difference between an Asante man and a Fanti, or Yoruba man and somebody from Kenya. So why have we always used tribalism as a stick to divide ourselves? Like you said, there are laws in the land. Go through the channels. Make your case known. If you have a problem with this Igbo man building a village in Ghana, go to the chiefs. They gave him the land. The man has done absolutely nothing wrong. Absolutely. We buy land here in the US and we have our houses. If we want to incorporate a Ghanaian village in America, we go somewhere and we buy the land and we all build our houses together and we decide to name the streets Ghanaian names. It is legally allowed.
Yep.
So this thing, I don't get it. I personally don't get it. Whether he is Igbo, Yoruba, Ewe, Dagbani, from Ouagadougou, as long as the person is African, we shouldn't even have borders. They don't have borders here. They don't have borders in Europe, but they have made sure that we hate each other. What happened in South Africa, I hope it never happens anywhere else. They were killing other Africans while the Caucasian was walking around freely.
Yeah.
That is, we need to open our eyes and open our consciousness. That's what we need to do. This land belongs to all of us as Africans. That's why there are legal ways to acquire land. We are allowing African Americans to come to Ghana and invest. Why are we kicking Nigerians out? Why? For what reason? So now that's my take. Thank you.
Alrighty. Thank you, Prof. The next is the Galamsey issue. I know people might think this issue is we always talk about it. Yes, we have to talk about Galamsey in Ghana because it's killing the nation. It's a killer. And I promised I was gonna do a research into how we can write a proposal to international communities to help put pressure on the government of the day to especially repeal the LI 2462. And yes, I have been able to come across a couple of institutions. We have drafted a letter, a proposal, which as soon as we get the go from Prof. Prof, I sent that to you. So as soon as we get the go, we are
Yeah,
going to set that in motion.
I've gone through it and I've sent it back just
Okay.
this morning. Yeah,
Okay.
just
All
this
right.
morning. Yeah.
So we're going to set that in motion. But that was another thing I was talking to a friend about. I was like, instead of these so-called bloggers and some politicians who got involved in this Igbo King thing saga, instead of them encouraging the youth to hit the streets, because they called for demonstrations against the Nigerians in Ghana. And I think some of the demonstrations was supposed to take place this weekend and next weekend or something like that. So they had a lineup of activities and series of demonstrations they were going to conduct. Why don't you channel that energy against the Galamsey activities going on in Ghana? And let us put pressure on the government to, first of all, declare a state of emergency. And secondly, repeal the LI 2462, because it really still doesn't make sense to me why we still got those that LI still on our status books when you promised that you're going to repeal it. There's nothing about revisiting and retweeting that LI. It has to be outrightly repealed because nobody has any business. If we don't take care of our land, who is going to take care of the land for us? And this week I was doing a little bit of research into some of these mineral resources. Look, Ghana, the whole of Ghana, from the length and breadth, width of Ghana, is full of mineral resources. So if we are not able to regulate what is going on now, trust me, people are going to start mining. Well, in some mining areas, they've already started mining their own rooms. It's going to be chaotic. So we want to plead with the government. That was part of your campaign message, to repeal the LI. And you were calling on the previous government to declare a state of emergency. So please, let's do that and save our land and save our waters and save our future. As I always say, land was defined clearly by our forefathers when they stated that the land, it's owned by our ancestors. We are just custodians and we hold it in trust for posterity. So please, what are we going to present to posterity? If it gets to our turn to leave, can we proudly say that we've preserved this land for posterity? Or are we going to hand it down at a dilapidated and at a destroyed land to posterity? It's something that really, really, really is giving us sleepless nights. Because the repercussion of what's going on in Ghana now concerning this mining, illegal mining and irresponsible mining, it's people think it's just the villages. It goes way beyond the villages. They will bring food to Accra from the villages, contaminated food. The fish in the rivers. I mean, the consequences, you cannot even number the consequences of some of these things. So please, we want those of you who are angry at the Igbo king and want to organize demonstrations, please organize demonstrations against Galamsey, because that is what is killing the land and killing the people and killing our future. That is my take.
And I was doing some research and I came across something that I think I need to put out here. All the central banks in Europe, America, and especially in China have silently, over the past 15 to 20 years, amassing gold reserves. They are amassing gold reserves. China was very late to the game. And in a US bill, I'm not going to mention names, I will let you know later. A Republican senator slipped in a provision that is allowing China to really up their game into amassing gold reserves. Remember, the American dollar was pegged to gold, and it was Nixon that took it off the gold standard. Since then, the Federal Reserve can just print money. It's not attached to any standard now. But China didn't start amassing gold reserves until the US deficit went so high, because China, Japan, they own more than 50% of treasuries. And the more the US dollar depreciates, the more they lose. And so the US has to help China in having gold reserves that is a store of wealth against the dollar depreciating. So ask yourself, why is it that Chinese are all over Africa looking for gold? Will you be allowed to even plant tomato in China? No. Why is it that they are all over Africa destroying our lands looking for gold? Because gold is very expensive and it's a finite resource, and they are in a hurry to have reserves of gold in the trillions of dollars to counterbalance any depreciation of the dollar. And that's why their government will give them subsidies to come and destroy our land. To all my African brothers and sisters, if you want to get mad at something, get mad at the rate at which our lands are being destroyed. And it is not even for our own good. You see what happened in Burkina Faso? Since France got kicked out, they have been able to increase their gold reserves in their own central bank. France don't have any gold deposits in their own land, and they are the third or fourth richest nation when it comes to gold deposits. Where do they get all the gold from? So we need to open our eyes. We need to stop the tomfoolery and actually open our eyes. I am a natural resource manager. I understand the bio treasure that we have not even yet scratched the surface in our forests and in our savannas. We have not even scratched the surface. Remember, we only use 1% of our GDP as Africa into research. And I'm talking about all research. So whatever we even own on our lands, we don't even have knowledge about it. And here we are destroying them. And for those of you who live in Kumasi or live in Accra and you think Galamsey will not ever get to you and all that, that's fine. Remember, the water is being seeped into the soil. And now people are saying that when they draw water out of their wells, those waters are contaminated by heavy metals like mercury. Okay? It is not just the optics that look bad, that our rivers are now brown and all that. It's not just the optics. Our groundwater has been touched. As of now, we are importing tomatoes, we are importing onions, we are importing whatever you want to think about. We don't take care, we will be importing water from Europe or from somewhere else. Whatever they will never allow us to do elsewhere, we are allowing other people from other countries to come and do it on our land. And we are not even angry at that. We will rather channel our anger towards our neighbors, who are our blood brothers. That's what we're doing. If there is any anger, the first priority should be at our leaders for allowing foreigners to destroy our land. When you talk about this, they say, but the chiefs knew. Yeah, you've made the chiefs powerless. That LI was not signed by any chief. It was signed by the political elite. And Nana, if you ask a lot of Ghanaians, they don't even know what we are talking about. The LI, they don't know. Where are our representatives? Where are the MPs? Why are they not talking about this? And to my chiefs and to my queen mothers, I'm begging you, in all due respect, the land that you are sitting on, it is not yours. Like Nana said, it is our forefathers' property. And we are holding it in trust for posterity. When you are swearing the oath of allegiance, that is what you say to protect the land and the people. Please do your job. Do not allow these politicians for their own parochial interests to sell us off. Because in 10, 15 years, we are going to have some. It has already started. If you talk to people in Obuasi, people are giving birth with genetic problems already. And if you go to any of these other mining communities, you will see these things happening. Biological problems that people are having because they are eating and drinking from contaminated sources. And what you are saying about buildings, people digging in their, go to Konongo and see. Go, I have videos in which people's bedrooms have sunk in because people have dug all around their houses, sometimes even without their permission. So then this issue of Galamsey, I don't know what else we need to do, but it seems sometimes we bring in issues that take our eyes off the ball and the whole nation jump ahead and talk about nonsensical issues that we should not even be talking about, when the real issues that we have to confront just sit there. And to President Mahama, the Honorable President Mahama, this was a campaign promise. You promised the nation that you will rescind this LI. You've been in power for more than 6 months. Please go ahead and do this. And also fight Galamsey, because you said you will. You said the previous government should declare a state of emergency. We are calling on you to actually follow through, because now the power is yours and you have the highest majority that any president has ever had in parliament in the history of Ghana. So I don't see what is preventing you from doing your job. Please, sir, your people are dying. And if they are not dying today, they will die tomorrow. Please do your job. Thank you, Nana.
Alrighty. The final one, it's going to be the Ablekuma North rerun elections. That animalistic behavior that was put up by some political, okay, let me rephrase this statement. Some followers of certain political ideologies. Again, last week I made my points known and my 2 cents known, and I'm just going to reiterate that if we really mean well in resetting our country, we don't need that kind of violence. That kind of electoral violence, we don't need it in our country. And as most people say, just 19 polling stations, we could not even control it. How much more if we have to have elections in the whole country? The police stood unconcerned. And sometimes I hear people asking or making statements like, as of now, nobody has been arrested. And I was telling them they did not even arrest people there and then. So as of now, who do you want to be arrested? When it was happening right in front of the police officers, they did not arrest anybody. If you go to a very serious country where people meant business, when some of these lawlessness is taking place in the presence of the police officers, you will see people lying up on the floor with handcuffs or plastic, what you call it, zip locks on their wrists. The police came there not with batons, not with shields, nothing. When you knew this happens to be a flashpoint. So I don't know what's going on with the police administration, but what happened was crazy. And sometimes I hear people saying, I condemn this, but there is no but. I don't care who the former NP is or what she has done before. If you think she did something wrong, take her through the law. Let her face the law. You don't have any right to raise your hands on anybody. And again, I want to reiterate, people like Sam George, Hannah Bishu, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, should be dismissed if we are serious in rebuilding our country or resetting our country. These people should be dismissed because you cannot tell me you want to execute leadership when you have such ideologies of anarchy, of vengeance. These are not characteristics of leadership. So if we're serious, these people should be kicked out of office to serve as a deterrent for others. You condemn the act, condemn the act. There are no buts, there are no ifs. I don't care what she has done before. If you have a problem, take her through the law courts. You don't take an advantage or undue advantage of her when she's vulnerable. And then the last thing I want to address is when people talk about pepper spray, pepper spray, pepper spray. Yes, she shouldn't have taken the pepper spray to the voting grounds because it's seen as a weapon. And I hear weapons were not supposed to be brought into those areas. So first of all, how do they ensure that people do not bring weapons to those areas? And if there were any measures to ensure that people should not bring weapons to those areas, were they doing that? Because when I listened to the lady, she also said she saw somebody with a knife and another person with a gun. So please, let's our security agencies have to be serious. We really have to be serious. This shouldn't happen. And this can be avoided. It can easily be avoided by preventing some of these thugs from coming close to the polling stations. As simple as that. You put up a barricade. Nobody goes beyond this barricade. And if you are scared of somebody rigging the elections, get cameras at the polling centers. You have your officials already within those perimeters who are monitoring the elections. So why do you allow these hooligans to come in as well? This is not an issue that cannot be prevented. It can be prevented. Get cameras with your officials within the perimeters where the voting is going on. And when they're counting, you activate the cameras. Or you can activate the cameras within a certain distance so it will not capture what people are or who people are voting for. This can be done. It can be avoided. And the police, please be serious, because what you did, it's a shame. It's a shame. And I hope these people will be brought to book. And the police service will get serious with what they're supposed to be doing with the mandate that has been given to them. Because what went on at Ablekuma is uncalled for, is unnecessary. And anybody who supported it, any politician, any office holder who supported it publicly, privately, should bow their heads in shame and should be dismissed. They're not fit to hold any public office. That is my take, Prof.
Well, since you have qualified it with if we are serious, that's where I'm going to come from. We are not serious. Like you said, a lot of these things can and should be prevented. I asked one of my friends who is a member of the NDC why this should even happen. And he pointed out to me what this woman had done over the years. And I was like, but you are in power now. Whatever this woman has done over the years within her constituency, you have the records. Why have you not prosecuted her? And there was no answer for that. Nana, as long as we do not allow people to see the consequences of their actions, these things will continue to happen. Consequence is not coincidence. Those who really know Accra and knows Ablekuma knew this was going to happen. And those people who came there to beat that woman, they came there prepared to beat the woman. Because we have allowed nonsense to lead us for a very long time. Okay? I can point you to political destructions at polling stations over the years, especially the last 8 years. Atiwa was an example. And these people had been waiting. They had been waiting. And this is my issue. When the gatekeeper is the very same person who is opening the door for illegals and non-compliant people to enter, there is very little you and me can do. Why am I saying this? One of my classmates is the police chief for Kumawu. I called him personally. Jack, why is it that you guys are allowing this to do? He says the fish must be hooked. The hook must be according to the fish. If the fish like the bait on the hook must be according to the fish. If the fish likes worms, you don't put pineapple shavings on your hook. Now, when somebody was fooling around like this and the police arrested him, because that person is connected politically, that policeman is in trouble as I speak to you. So before they went to the police station, they were told to go stand there and watch. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm.
The policemen is not because they can't do their job or they don't want to do their job. They are afraid of the consequences of doing their job. Because these people that came there to do whatever they came to do, they were sent there by the political elite to do what they are doing. So all the talking that we are going to talk is not going to change anything until, like you just said, if His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani, wants us to believe that he's serious about the integrity of elections in Ghana, everybody in leadership position that could have prevented it needs to be fired yesterday. These are the gatekeepers, and they are the very ones who are sending thugs after people. And like you said, you don't care what the woman had done in the past. I do care. I wish this present government will prosecute her for what she has done, to serve as a deterrent to future people, that when you are in power, you cannot abuse the power. And then they should also prosecute the people who did it today. There has to be a start at some point. But as long as we think that when my party is in power, I can do whatever I want, this will continue. Because consequence is not coincidence. This is consequence of 20 years of looking aside when our own people are causing mayhem, because it benefits us. That is where the problem is. That's my take.
All right. So if she did something wrong in the past, why is she not being prosecuted? Well, somebody can say her government was in power, but her government is no longer in power. So why can't she be prosecuted now? Instead
Exactly
of
the
somebody laying
questions.
hands on her?
Yeah, exactly the questions that I've been asking anybody who is willing to listen.
And my
Why
final
is it?
take, yeah, finish.
Why is it that she's walking around free when you say you have evidence that she did some things wrong? Why is she walking around freely?
Meanwhile,
Why?
you're going after people who you claim did something wrong in the previous government.
Exactly my point.
So why can't you go
So
after her too?
I see it as political convenience. These tags were there to make sure that the NDC won the elections, and it benefits the NDC, which is in power, and they are not going to do anything about it. They are not. Nobody is going to get fired. Nobody is going to jail, and that's the sad truth. So whoever wants to see sanity in our political discourse need to start from somewhere. His Excellency John Dramani needs to crack the whip. Start from some. Otherwise, this is just business as usual. I was there in Ghana when Atiwa happened. It was a by-election just like this one. And I saw the mayhem that MPP did. And what did our president, Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, do then? He joked about it. He actually joked about it. He said, I will show you a small Atiwa. He used it as an idiom. So, Nana, the gatekeepers who should prevent mayhem are the very people who are orchestrating the mayhem. And that's my take.
All right. So, again, the NPP officials who are also making counter statements as to we're getting ready for Obuasi, I think it's just nonsense. Let's find a solution to this. When violence begets violence, there is no victor nor vanquished. That was by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It doesn't make sense.
And when two elephants fight,
The
it is
grass.
the ground that suffers. My problem has always been those who allow themselves to be used in violence by the political elite.
Yeah.
When you get into trouble, you are on your own. It has been happening over, and I know somebody who was killed in Tafu in 1992. I know somebody who was killed in 1996. Personally, I know people who have lost a limb and somebody who has lost an eye to political violence, protecting somebody's father's job. So it beats my imagination why anybody will go anywhere to cause violence.
Yeah, well, I I'm gonna do a section on this. These are some of the legacies Rawlings left behind, whether you like it or
Exactly.
not. These are some of the
Exactly.
legacies Rollins left behind.
We need to start from somewhere. People
And we
don't want to
need to
tell the
nip it in the
truth.
back. Yep.
Yeah, people don't want to tell the truth, but the truth is we have allowed this to go on for a very long time. And until we uproot it by the roots, pruning it is not going to change anything.
And it's going to take leadership.
Exactly.
To end
That's
this.
why, of all these things that I'm saying, I go back to the presidency. If they want this to stop, if the president sends 4,000 policemen to Obuasi, guess what will happen? Nobody would dare come near any ballot box. And he has the power.
No, but the point is, why do they even allow people to go close? If you're not an officiating officer, or what do they call them? A polling agent or whatever, why do you, what business do you have going close?
That's why I love the statement you made that we are not serious. And if we are serious, this is preventable. The former MP herself, what was she doing there? It was not her constituency. She had no business in there.
Yeah, on that score, I think we can, because most of both sides of the divide were going in there, going in and out of the polling stations. You see, because like you said, it's been allowed, which shouldn't be in the first place.
Nana, they were going in and out because the battle lines had been drawn in the past. Like I was telling you, the people who came there to cause the violence, they already knew that woman was going to be there. The sad truth. They already knew. And this coming of Boasitin, all these statements that is going on, don't you think it's prepping people?
It's even scary to me. It's scary to me. And I don't see why these people in power are sitting on concern, not making any official statements, not making any move to call for truce or call for any discussions as to how these things are going to be avoided in the future. It's anyway. This is all time will permit us to do. We're about to close the curtains on today's Analyze This. Next week, we're going to be here to discuss any happenings in Ghana and in Africa. But once again, I want to send our condolences to the family of Albert Ojwang. And we hope that justice will prevail in Kenya. My name, Nana Osei Bonsu Jr., and my co-hosts.
I'm Kojo Frimpong. Remember that nobody's coming to build our society for us. Whatever we build today is the society we'll live in tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Whatever we build today is the society we live in tomorrow. On that note, we'll catch you on the flip side. Be good. Bye-bye.
Bye.